Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today's spawning southeast corner map. Playing in blue, we got Marinelord, representing Izzy Esports, as the ayyubids. And his opponent in the northwest, playing in red, we got Numudan, playing as the Malians. Welcome everyone to Coastal Cliffs, that's the map for today, and two fantastically strong players in Age of Empires 4, going toe-to-toe on a very narrow map. Now you might be wondering, there are fish on this map, but you can't even get it. What is the point? Yeah, to be fair, I'm not so sure what the fish are there for, but maybe aesthetic reasons. Either way, the map, Coastal Cliffs, you might be thinking, well, why even have the water there? Well, what it does do is it narrows the map quite significantly and changes people's strategies because of it. Because of the narrowness, it makes focal areas like the gold, a lot more concentrated in just a linear fashion. And so it makes it a little bit more easier to target. Bear in mind though, with certain civilizations, it kind of hampers their mobility. The cavalry civilizations, they love to loop around long distances, coming in from all different angles. Of course, Coastal Cliffs narrows the angles for that to happen. Either way, may not be seeing too much of that with the ayyubids versus Malians, although, to be fair, Sofa and Malians might have something to say about that. Certainly an interesting matchup. Now, the reason why I'm interested with this one is I think it's been a recurring theme with a lot of matchups I've seen recently where certain civilizations do what they want to do and then another civilization or the opposing civilization has to try and challenge it, do something about it, address it, react to it. The question is, which civilization here has that dominance? I would say... Okay, I had to pause and think about that one. Do you know what? I don't think it's as clear. I think the Malians in most civilization matchups will be the dominant one because the cow boom, like, it takes some time, but once it does get rocking and rolling, it's just so powerful. You get so much food coming in so fast. Speaking of which, let's go to the village counter. Guys, sorry on YouTube, I know you guys are gonna be annoyed at me for that. But oh wait, there we go. You want the villager counter? There we go. Yeah, bringing plenty of sheep, which is good. But he's gonna transition quite quickly to cow booming, most likely. Like if you're gonna play the standard meta Numudan. And I think generally when you get to the castle edge at that point with the Grand Fulani Coral, boosting amount of food of the cows coming in, it's incredibly strong. But the ayyubids, speaking of castle age, they do get to the castle age very fast. It's something that they're very powerful and very good at doing, especially with the backing of the military wing. Gives them that space to breathe, allows them to put some pressure on and then get to the castle age. The question is really how much pressure can they do with this tech up. You do get the Desert Raider every 2 minutes. Bear in mind though, like, it's good, it's great to have. You're not necessarily going to kill your opponent, of course. You want to just do some harassment, early damage, but the main thing is it keeps you alive, especially if you're up against feudal age aggression. But bear in mind, the Malians tend not to do that anyway, so it's an interesting choice, because you can think about going to the castle age with maybe growth, getting extra villagers, and then go for the culture wing. It's all down to preference, but I do love this idea of going for the military wing at the same time, because you will get, a Desert Raider every 2 minutes for the rest of the whole game, and you don't really want to say no to free units, right? Either way, as we did mention earlier on the cast, that how the map is a lot narrower than usual, the food sources therefore are a bit more clumped up together. You do have the boar and the deer camps. Bear in mind, obviously, these two civilizations adhering to the Islamic tradition, they don't actually take the boar meat, so that's one thing to factor in. So the boar meat is pretty much irrelevant in this matchup, but deer camp, very much relevant. And speaking again about the relic positions, they're all very quite close to each other. And the significance of that is actually, when you go into the castle age, if you're there first, the reason why that's such a big role is because with the relics being close to each other, you can pick them up very quickly. You're not having to, say, go to this corner here because you can't, it's water, there's no relic there. So with the relics being closer in, makes it a little bit quicker. Like, it feels like if you get the castle age a bit quicker, it's a bit more of an impact, you're a bit more likely to get those relics in. A lot more of them. Speaking of which, it's going to get stable, so there's going to be a bit of feudal age aggression behind this for Marinelord, and I don't hate it. I like it, actually, because I think ultimately, we talked about earlier in the cast which faction, which civilization has that dominance about doing what they want to do. If Numudan and the Malians are going to go for the castle age, Marinelord, if he matches that, will he be able to really keep up? I'm not so sure, at least not in terms of food. And bear in mind, the Malians will be getting gold passively with the pit mine right here, especially as well with the landmark choice, going to the feudal age, Mansa Quarry. Getting that gold in passively. It's going to be an archery range opening. Access to the javelin throws, and maybe looking to get a barracks in after that, especially when he knows he's up against a stable. Walling situation. I like it on that left side, just to, again, narrow that attack, especially with the horsemen on the field. We talked about how narrowing the map really plays a role in that, and the horsemen won't necessarily come in from multiple different angles because of that. And also, just looking to compound that issue with Numudan with the walling up, again, to make the map even more narrow. Now, if this does turn into a bit of a feud-age battle, I gotta say the Malians do have some good tools for this. Like, the Donso, I feel like is, if not the best, is one of the best spearman line units in the game for sure, because of course the spearmen are actually technically a melee unit, but I gotta say the Donso, I mean, can you really classify as a melee unit? I mean, overall yes, in terms of grand scheme of things, but the fact that it can actually throw its spear is absolutely huge. If the horsemen get anywhere close to it, it's going to take some damage, and it's going to take some really hard countering damage at that. It can be painful. Oh, wall never actually went up there on the west side, so Numudan might want to delete that to keep up the wood in his bank. And there is that barracks. Maybe looking to get a couple of Donso out soon. Double archery range. So it's a question in chat from Paris too. What endgame unit is there that's gonna really mess you up? Gonna make it a bit more friendly? I mean, it's an interesting one. Like the Malians versus the ayyubids. I think generally these two civilizations do like to scale what they already have. So it feels like they do like to have the existing like horsemen. Maybe camel lancers is a good one for the ayyubids. Camel lancers can be incredibly strong. I think the Malians, to be fair, it could come down to camel lancers on Sofa, cavalry, primarily for both. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Malians quite lean into the Donso javelin throwers and just scale them up in terms of veterancy upgrades. I think that'd be good. I think it's going to be an important one. We'll see if they end up heading that way. Try to get a pit mine on the west side. I don't know if this was a mistake. I think maybe he wanted to wall this up because getting this pit mine is pretty exposed now that he, now that he doesn't... I think that was the plan, right? He's probably looking to get the palisade up so he can keep the pit mine safe. But now, unfortunately, it's on fire, so he's going to have to send a villager to repair or rebuild, but he's not going to be able to because he doesn't really have the units there. You can see the Donsos getting a good few hits. Needs to back away. Doesn't really have the military units here. The Marinelord and the ayyubids getting a lot of value. He's going to push this back quite heavily. Donso's taking some damage against the archer fire, and cavalry sweeping on in. He's going to lose a lot here, Numudan. He wasn't able to get out of there. Push on out a little bit too far. The TC garrison's inside. Villagers still working hard at the food. Now, in terms of cow boom, he's only got 3 cows in the cattle ranch. He's having to commit to production buildings. I love this play. Yeah, Marinelord, he's really piling on pressure, and rightly so. This is nice. Because this is definitely a good way to stop the Malians going crazy with the cow boom, although he's going to continue to do so. Just 1 mill. Sometimes you see a double mill, but of course wouldn't be able to afford that just yet. Here comes another archery range. Question is whether Marinelord has the tools to deal with what the Malians have. I mean, he's got the numbers advantage. As long as he keeps the numbers advantage, he should be okay, the ayyubids. But there's going to come a point where Numudan, with the passive income he's got, he's going to have a really good death ball of infantry units. What this does allow the ayyubids to do, though, I'm kind of excited about this opportunity, is if he forces Numudan into a mass infantry play, in the Castle Age, the ayyubids can able to, build the Manjanik, the Mangonel equivalent, on the field, and they could do so much damage to infantry units. Bear in mind as well that he went up with the military wing, and so now even the cavalry can build them on the field. I think that could be a really nice way to dish out some damage. And just thinking about the arc of this game, the way that it's kind of positioning in that way, it's kind of interesting to think about if that's exactly what Marinelord is thinking. How's it going, Myriad, in the chat? Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you might be thinking, what am I talking about in the chat? It's because I am casting live on Twitch these days quite regularly, so you might want to check it out. Come say hi live if you like. Love to see you there. I'll leave a link in the video description where you might be able to find me. And yeah, Myriad, by the way, also does stream every so often. I do catch him online. I have casted a couple of his games as well, so it's certainly worth checking out. If you want some high-level point of view action, of course, I believe Marinelord does stream as well. Numudan, I'm not so much sure. I don't think I've seen him stream before. Either way, plenty of production buildings, and you can see that mass army of Donso's javelin throwers behind that. The question is, who's going to blink first? Who's going to look to go to the castle age first? It feels like maybe the ayyubids kind of have to, right? Because every minute that passes, the economy is still scaling really nicely for Numudan. Yeah, sure, the cow boom isn't as strong as it could have been, or maybe we would have wanted it to be, because you had to make units. But it's still going, it's still ticking away. That's something the ayyubids have to be conscious of. As I say, that castle age does come in, and it came in. Okay, we didn't recognize it. It went up with the economic wing, the growth, so it does get 8 villages out of it. There is a bit of a spectator bug on capture age. It doesn't show the ayyubids tech up. It's a little bit annoying. But we do know he's in the castle age now. So it's a good thing he's in the castle age, because we called it, right? And it can't be a feudal age aggression against just feudal age, because it feels like the Malians just scale the economy a little bit quicker. But now, with the castle age in, I think Numudan's in a rough spot. He needs an army to push on out, because bear in mind we said about how the relics are close to each other. It makes it very difficult for the Malians to, well, grab them, but it could be a way that he can kind of keep them protected, right? As long as he keeps the military numbers up. One thing that's good, though, for the ayyubids is he does have access to the dervish. They're very fast on their feet. Doesn't have any out on the map just yet, but looking to maybe get one out soon. And you can see that posturing on the mid-map. Numudan recognizing that he is in the feudal age. The relics is an issue. He needs to try and keep them protected for as long as possible. Or at least try and keep them denied for as long as possible. The question is, what army does it go for? Would it be Gulam? Would he be looking to go for a highly armored unit? So it's a possibility, but it looks like he's really just scaling what he has. And we talked about the economy being strong for the Malians, but bear in mind, Marinelord did just get an extra 8 villages. Courtesy of going up with the growth and the eco wing. Holy smokes, Paristu coming in with another 10 subs. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it. He is on a roll, supporting the channel. I'd love to say a very big thank you to Paristu, obviously, because he's just gifted 10 subs, who's absolutely madman. But everyone who's been supporting the channel, it's been going a long way, and you guys are making it hard for me not to do more content, because I'm enjoying it as much as I am. The support really helps me continue. Holy smokes, thank you so much, Paristu. Moving on the right side, Grand Fulani Coral, no real surprises, we kind of expected, but this is where food becomes crazy, right? So let's take a look at that. It's already 1,000 per minute. Once it gets to the castle age, that food count income going to escalate heavily. He's challenging that pet mine there on the north corner of the map. And we'll deny a bit of passive gold income, but again, not all that much of a problem. The Mamluks coming in. Sultan's Mamluks gives the infantry 25% damage, 20% movement speed after killing a unit. Could be strong here if he gets on top of this, if he engages. Doesn't necessarily have to at this point. But this is still a very scary army, right? I think he needs to commit to siege. I think it's something you might have to do. Oh my god, Paristu again with another 10 gifted subs. Holy moly. Oh, absolute legend. Thank you so much, dude. I'm starting to like that emote, actually, holy moly, because I think it's becoming very relevant. I know, right? Thank you so much. What an absolute legend. Speaking of legend, we all know Marinelord is a bit of a legend in the StarCraft scene, but also really making a name for himself in this the Age of Empires 4, of course. Well, I say making a name, he's already got the name. He's been there at the top echelons. Numudan, though, trying to put a spanner in the works. He's going to want to try and challenge for the top spots as well. We'll colour change there for a second. We'll switch back. Oh, there we go. There is the Manjanek. About to deploy. This is the key bit of detail, right? We talked about it earlier in the cast. This is what maybe is holding the key to this matchup. The question is, will the Malians, will they get a siege workshop? Does he have one yet? I'm not so sure. Either way, hold the phone on that. Camel Lancers diving in. We'll be looking to try and charge on those javelin throws as much as they can. Manjanek kind of lagging behind, obviously not really keeping up with the movement speed. Donso's always threatening to go into that front line and try and charge on the cavalry, but there he goes, massive shot on the javelin throws with the Manjanek. Absolutely coming with the Sofa on the north side, going to try and get on top of that. Will get on top of that. Should lose the Manjanek. Did get another shot off. Will he get another one off? Will he just about? No, doesn't get another third shot off, but Damage has been done. The archer's getting good value. Cavalry do end up getting taken down. It does still have a couple of camel lancers. Well, one actually. Going to go on top of the infantry. Tree's getting in the way, I'm afraid, but mostly javelin throws. Cavalry will take that down. We're looking good. The javelin throws in good numbers, and those archers do really need to back away. Now, after all that aggression, Numudan has held. But look at this. He's going to get a second town centre behind all of this. This is looking great here for Marinelord. He's done damage, and he's going to look to scale even more. That's looking good. Now, he's quite far behind in terms of economy here. Numudan struggling with the villager count. He's going to go for a third town centre. Holy moly. He's really going for it. It's already got 5 relics. This is the key bit of detail. Go to their castle age sooner. There's less distance to travel to gather them. And behind all that aggression that he just had, he had the presence of mind to pick up all the relics. Numudan, he's under all sorts of pressure. Now, he's getting passive food income. 1,000 per minute. In fact, he's actually getting triple the food income that Marinelord's getting. So, for all the damage and all the effort and pressure that Marinelord has done, the Malians' food economy is still absolutely bonkers. He's keeping up with the gold income, so bear in mind, he's not out of this by any stretch of the imagination here, Numudan. But with that third town centre, Marinelord really looking to scale the economy. And I think that could be the difference maker, right? Because you might be making an argument to say, well, just stay on one town centre, try and push. But Marinelord recognises that this game might go to the mid to late game, and he's planning for it. That's the key bit of detail. Like, he doesn't want to go all in with the strategy to say, I'm going to be one town centre, you know, try and do as much damage as I can, but the mine is going to boom away. He is still going to add in some economy to try and hold in to this macro game. Villagers on berries. They are being attacked, but ultimately he's got enough to deal with that. Going to decap the sacred site. Another gifted sub. Paris, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it, my dude. Villagers on stone backing away. With the income he's actually got the sacred site counter ticking, but not for long, because that will be decapped. An interesting game so far, building another Manjanek, and that's forced the Sofa, that's forced the siege engines out of the Malians. Again, making the Malians have to change what they want to do. Although, to be fair, they might want to go for Sofa anyway, but you get the idea. Either way, Marinelord can have a great economy, and all of a sudden now, I love this game, I really do, because this particular match, the way it was, Numudan wanted to do what he wanted to do. He wanted to get the Malian boom away. Now, really, it's almost up to Numudan to have to pressurize Marinelord, just because of the eco setup that Marinelord has. Now, I mean, to be fair, there's a decent amount of food coming in from Numudan, but take a look how much food is coming in from Marinelord. He's going to have a farming transition that will be looking very beautiful. There it is. And so now, all of a sudden, it really is up to Numudan to be the one to try and be aggressive. It's a great game. He's going to get the outpost on the front lines to protect that deer camp. Paris do again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The real droopers. If you guys have been getting gifted subs, by the way, from Paris 2, make sure you give him a good thank you, because there's good emotes there on the channel. Hopefully I'll get some more, actually. I have to think about emotes now. Maybe we can actually get a couple more slots. Poisoned arrows coming in for the archers. But look at the production. He's really rocking and rolling. Bear in mind as well, one of the tiers of the Golden Age, production speed. This is it. This is exactly what he needs. Tier 3 is the sweet spot. With the Golden Age now, he's got production speed of 20%. Absolutely huge. He's got a great economy, and it's scaling well with the production as well. Looking very, very nice. Of course, Numudan, with the passive income, he's not out of it, although it almost feels like Marinelord has put himself into a really good winning position. Look how much food he's getting. Almost 2,000 food per minute. Going to wall this up, keep this wall repaired for as long as possible. And it's going to try and get some units there. Wait, where are the units? Marinelord, get some units there, dude. Holy moly. Moving on the west side. Oh, couple of units. Outpost is up and running with some emplacements. And he's going to basically clear this up, but on the east side he has broken through with the cavalry. Looking to take those villagers out. The villagers should be able to escape though with the archers, although there's just a little bit too many cavalry maybe for his liking. He's backing away. Doesn't want to engage with the spearmen here, Numudan. And Marinelord, he's confident in his late game. And I don't blame him. I think the Abbasid Dynasty actually have a really good late game. It's just a question if they can get there. And I think Marinelord is going to get there. It's looking very good. Paris dude, thank you. Appreciate it. I think we're going to have a special Paris dude emote, actually, at this rate. Holy smokes. 3 Springolds. Which, again, I like that because, of course, he's probably expecting a lot of Manjanik to try and deal with this. And obviously the counter would be those Springolds. The question is, where does it go from here? It's a bit of a stalemate situation. Although, now, Marinelord does have a large economy number lead. But bear in mind, a lot of the economy is passive for the Malians. So he's got good population efficiency. But I've got to say, things are looking very nice for Marinelord. He's got almost 200 population, almost fully population capped. So it would be a good time to go. And it's going to be even further aggressive. It does have Manjanik there still alive and kicking. Although Springle's getting involved. We'll snipe out with the Springle there from the ayyubids. Diving on in with the cavalry. There's just too many spearmen. I don't think the Sopha can challenge this. There's Manjanik firing on the backline. The spearmen absolutely ripped through the Sopha. The Sopha can't do anything about this. Crossbows and archers behind this is starting to push forward. And Marinelord, he's gathering some traction, gathering some momentum. This is looking a little bit dicey for Numudan. As to back away. Might lose the Springles to the melee units even. And he has the healing up from the dervishes in a massive way. Although a big pushback coming in for the Malians, momentum almost switching the other way. Pendulum has swung, Sopha numbers looking good. Spearman numbers are lacking now for the ayyubids, and that allows the Sopha to dive on in. But another Manjanik coming out for Marinelord. And again, switching in the... Well, it's a pendular action here. It's looking good. Will that keep in a nice spot? He needs to defend that, though, really heavily. This could turn into a gold game. You know, the fact that he's got this gold here is really nice for Marinelord. Might need to try and contest this one on the west side. If he can control that, it could be critical. Bear in mind, though, he does have 5 relics in the bag. Yeah, that's looking streak. That is looking crazy. That is looking crazy. Here's about to be fully built and move on in. Villagers now being set out to that gold. So this is going to be a critical moment in the game. 23 minutes and gold reserves going to be running low for both players at some point, at least in terms of gathering. Manjanik deploys. Should get a good hit on those. Does lose a lot of HP. That is not ideal. I love this play, by the way. Getting the stones could be really critical. Getting those static defenses, buying him a lot of time on the east side. Speaking of static defenses, getting some stone walls. I love that play. That recognition that this gold is important. The concern for Marinelord is kind of pegged at home. So Numudan does have a lot of map control. And this is where things become a little bit dicey. We're talking about Abbasid Dynasty having a great late game. Don't sleep on the Malians. The fact they've got a lot of population efficiency, a lot of food income coming in from the cows, it frees up population space for army. And that could be incredibly strong. A bit of an almost stalemate issue. But I've got to say, this has probably been one of the best strategically played out games of Age of Empires I've seen in a long time. Numudan, about to get to that Imperial Age himself. We'll have to see where he places his landmark. Oh, going to be pressurized down the west side. The keep, though, is under fire from a Culverin and a Bombard, actually. But a sheer mass of melee units. Just going to torch this down. No boiling oil just yet. Needs to keep the army in position. Unfortunately, moved out at the worst possible time. We'll lose the keep for free. That's actually really rough. We'll be looking to get the Fort of the Huntress. Maybe he was thinking about getting a Sacred Site victory, but won't be able to now. That was rough. He moved out of position just for a second, and he loses it. There is that Fort of the Huntress. It's live and kicking. But Marinelord, he's getting control of the stone now. This is a smart play. We talked about how great it was that Numudan had the stone. Well, he doesn't anymore. Guess who's getting it? It's going to be Marinelord. Moving on the west side, and he's actually diving in a little bit with a couple of units, with a couple of spearmen. Interesting to see. He's going to go... Wait. If he goes for the cows, he can actually kill the cows and take out the cattle ranch and kill the cow on top of it. Then he can't rebuild the cattle ranch without eating the cow. That's actually huge. Kill the cow, kill the cow. He's going to kill it. That's so rude. But he's got to do it, right? So he's going to try and do it for the next one as well. This is huge. This is massive. Like, this is such a good use of these units. That these units are really cheap. They're really inexpensive. These are throwaway units, and he's going to throw them away for a really good cause. An absolute big brain play. Oh, but he does move the cows out in the right time there. Actually, wait, he moves it back into the... does it? No, I think those are okay. I think he'll be able to replace that. Kills out the spearman. I mean, to be fair, that was 3 cattle ranches. That was about half of it. Just under half of it. No, just exactly half of it. That was massive. It's down to 900 food per minute. That was a big brain play. Coupled with the fact that he's getting control of the middle with a keep. Absolutely massive. Now working on the right side. On the port of the Huntress. Bombard. Marinelord. He's timed this so well. It looks like almost Numudan just queuing up for a big fight now. One big last push potentially here for him. But he's got to make it count. Plenty of springalds. He's to take out the bombards if he can, but the culverin is just going to work so well against that. Alright, taking down the Fort of the Huntress relatively soon, I'd imagine. Does have poison arrow on the archers, will certainly help. Obviously composite bows is likely to be better. Still mining that stone. Plenty of resources in the back. Take a look, 5,000 food there for the ayyubids. That's absolutely nuts. Fort of the Huntress is being repaired, but he's going to need to do more than that. He needs to deal with the siege if he can. Getting the pit mine here. Again, setting another group of spearmen. Maybe looking to do the same as he did before. Maybe he goes for the woodline. We'll have to see. Looks like he's going to go for that woodline. Good bit of raiding with the spearmen. Relatively cheap and you know, yeah, pretty inexpensive unit. Those other phallic. He's going for the cows again. Oh, this is rough. He's pushing here at the same time, Numudan. He senses the window. Can head in with the Sofa. Archers behind the palisades, although actually the palisades weren't finished. Bombard could be exposed. Does have a culverin working on the siege. There's a lot of siege coming in for Numudan. Spearmen still working hard, pushing those villages away, keeping the villages idle. That's to keep it a detailed. Sofa are working hard against the crossbows and doing a good job of it. Here come mass spearmen though. Spearmen going to try and get on top of the Sofa. Sofa need to get out of there. They do. He reacts to it in time. Springalds are nowhere to be found. Mangonels there for the Malians. Working hard on the spearmen. I think spearmen will go down, but look at this. The spearmen here, they've killed so many villagers. 27 so far in the game. This woodline is exposed. This is not what he wants, Numudan. He's constantly moving around. He wants to just chop wood. He's down to 1 wood. But he does take out most of the forces in the front lines. He's starting to push further forward. But those spearmen, oh my god, it's absolute massacre. The spearmen getting so much value, killing so many villagers. Again, I mean, the problem is there's only one town centre, right? The Malians, you can't really rebuild or retrain those villagers anytime soon. It's just going to take a lot of time. Spread formation comes out, and cannoneers. Spearmen going to take down that front line, going to get wrapped around the mangonels. There it is, then, the mangonels aren't going to be enough here for the Malians. Marinelord takes the game on Coastal Cliffs in a cracking game of Age of Empires 4. Certainly one of my most favourite in a long time. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Take care, and see you next time.